You've decided to be a DIY self-directed investor, and now you're left wondering, did I actually get this right? That's exactly what we're going to find out today. Hi, everybody. I'm Christos, co-founder of Caplytica. Today, we're running your DIY investment plan through a 5-point check with the same fundamentals that the professionals use. By the end, you'll know whether your plan is actually sound or whether it has gaps that need filling in. And most DIY plans don't fail because of bad investment picks. They fail at one specific step that most people skip or get backwards. I'll show you exactly what that step is and how to fix it if you've missed it. Let's get into it. Start with your net worth. This is simply everything you own minus everything you owe. Assets minus liabilities. Your assets include cash, savings, retirement accounts, investments, real estate, and anything else of meaningful value. Your liabilities are your debts, things like mortgages, student loans, credit card balances, and car payments. The number itself matters less than knowing it. Net worth is your financial starting line, and you can't chart a course to a destination if you don't know where you're departing from. Next, understand your cash flow. How much money is coming in each month and each year? Track your income against your spending until you can see the gap between them clearly. That gap, your monthly surplus, is the fuel for your entire investment strategy. Remember, what gets measured gets managed. Most people are shocked when they actually run the numbers, and that awareness alone often changes behavior for the better. This boring groundwork matters because your ability to invest consistently depends on your short-term financial health. You need enough breathing room to contribute to your strategy each month without derailing your day-to-day life. Investing money you can't afford to set aside isn't a strategy. It's a liability waiting to happen. Yet knowing your number is only half the battle. Two people with identical incomes and net worth could and should invest in completely different ways. Same starting point, radically different strategies. So if the number alone doesn't determine your path, what does? And that's exactly what we're going to tackle next. This is the fun part. This is where we talk about why we're doing all of this in the first place. With your financial picture in focus, it's time to define your goals and your time horizon, what you want to achieve and when you want to achieve it. Maybe it's retiring by 65. Maybe it's buying that boat you've always wanted, purchasing your first home, or paying for your children's college education. The list goes on because every investor is unique. Your goals are personal, and so is your timeline. A 30-year-old saving for retirement and a 55-year-old saving for a lake house are playing entirely different games, even if they're investing the same dollar amount each month. There's two rules that make this step work. The first is be specific. I want to be wealthy isn't a goal, it's a wish. I want $1.5 million by age 65 is a target that you can actually build a strategy around. Attach a number and a date to every goal, and suddenly your investment plan has something concrete to aim at. Second is to be realistic. Your goals need to align with your current income and your expected earning potential throughout your career. This is exactly why we evaluated your financial situation first. Depending on what you earn and what you can consistently invest, that billion-dollar yacht might not be achievable within a desirable time horizon. And that's okay. Honest goals beat fantasy every time because honest goals are the ones you'll actually reach. Even so, income and timeline still don't tell the whole story. Remember at the start when I said most DIY plans fail at one specific step, the one that most people skip or get backwards? We've arrived at it, and it's called risk tolerance. And it's the reason two investors with the same goals, time horizon, and paycheck need completely different strategies. Get this step right, and everything we've covered so far locks into place. Get it wrong, and even a well-built plan can fall apart at the worst possible moment. Financial professionals are often legally required to assess it before recommending investments to you. If you're managing your own money, that responsibility falls on you. The good news is that you know yourself better than any advisor ever could. To understand why it matters so much, let's start with what a return actually is. When an investment pays you a return, That return is compensation for the financial risk you took while your money was on the line. Greater risk means greater potential return, but nothing is guaranteed. More risk also means a greater likelihood that the return never shows up. That trade-off sits at the cornerstone of everything because achieving your goals within your time horizon depends directly on how much risk you are willing to take. Think about it this way. A low risk tolerance with lofty financial goals are not compatible. At some point, you'll have to reconcile that. Either you become more comfortable with taking risk or you adjust your expectations. Instead of that yacht, maybe it's a nice canoe. Or maybe you add some growth stocks and you learn to sleep through the volatility. Either way, you need to know where you actually stand before you can make that choice. If you want to learn more about how to determine your risk tolerance, check out this video here. This is also where everything we've done so far comes together. And notice it's not a one-way street. Evaluating your financial situation told us what you can invest. Your goals and time horizon told us what you're investing for and how long you have to get there. Your risk tolerance tells us how much volatility you can carry along the way. These pieces don't just stack up on top of each other, they talk to each other. If reaching your goals demands more risk than you can sleep with, something has to give. Stretch the timeline, shrink the goal, or find more to invest. Adjust any one piece and the others shift with it. A sound plan isn't a checklist you complete once. It's a balance you strike between all four. And that balance feeds into one final decision, the one that drives your portfolio's returns more than anything else you'll ever do. It's the moment your plan stops being a set of answers and becomes an actual portfolio. That final decision has a name. It's called an asset allocation. This is the biggest driver of your portfolio's returns. It's not that hot stock you picked or the fund your coworker swears by. It's your asset allocation, the way your money is divided across stocks, bonds, cash, and other asset classes. And the biggest factor determining that allocation is your risk tolerance, followed by your goals and your time horizon. Every step we've taken has led us here. In practice, your allocation is a ratio. Stocks bring growth and volatility. Bonds bring stability and income. Cash brings safety and liquidity. A 30-year-old with a high risk tolerance and decades until retirement can lean heavily into stocks and let time absorb the swings. Someone 5 years from retirement with a low risk tolerance needs more bonds and cash because they no longer have the runway to recover from a deep downturn. Same asset classes, completely different mix, and both can be exactly right. Your job is to find the sweet spot. Every mix of assets carries an expected return and an expected level of risk, and the two move together. That's what determines the sweet spot. Your risk tolerance sets the ceiling on volatility. Your goals and time horizon, they set the floor on the return you need, and your allocation is where those two lines meet. So, how do you know if your mix will actually get you to your number? This is where a Monte Carlo simulation earns its place in a professional grade plan. Instead of assuming the market returns some tidy average every year, a Monte Carlo runs your portfolio through thousands of simulated market futures, bull runs, crashes, lost decades, and everything in between. Then it counts how often you reach your target by your deadline. The output is a probability, not a promise. If your plan succeeds in 85 out of 100 futures, maybe you're okay with that. If it only succeeds 40 out of 100, you've learned something priceless while there's still time to act. And the levers are the same ones we've been pulling all along. Invest more, extend the timeline, resize the goal, or revisit the mix. Quick note before we move on. This is exactly the gap we're trying to close at Caplytica. We're building investing tools like the Monte Carlo simulation and others so you can run this kind of professional grade analysis yourself with confidence. If you want to be the first to know when we launch, sign up for our email list in the link below. Notice how personalized all of this is. Copying your friend's portfolio or some model allocation from the internet is like wearing somebody else's prescription glasses. Their mix answers their financial situation, their goals, their time horizon, and their risk tolerance, not yours. This is also where many DIY investors work backwards. They pick investments first and then let their allocation happen by accident. Do it in the right order. Set the allocation first, then choose the investments to fill each slice. The final check is the simplest one, and it's the one that actually builds wealth. Contribute to your plan actively and consistently. All of the analysis in the world doesn't grow a portfolio. Contributions do, month after month, and time does the rest. If your plan is sound, but your money never shows up, you don't have a plan, you've just got a document. Nothing in this plan stays stagnant because your life doesn't. Your income changes, your goals evolve, a new job, a new kid, an unexpected windfall. Any of these can pull a piece of your plan out of date. And when one piece moves, the rest deserves a second look. So revisit these 5 steps at least once a year or anytime life makes a big move. A sound plan isn't just something you set once, it's something you keep up with. That's the full 5-point check. Let me know in the comments which step helped you the most. And if you found this valuable, go watch our in-depth video on how to determine your actual risk tolerance. Because as you know, everything else hangs on it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.